Our next guest, we're going to be talking about an event at Hollingworth Lake, a lake I know very, very well. I think I've walked around the lake every day for the past however many years, to be honest. But let's sort of get to the point. Hannah Cockle and Adam McGovern, could you sort of give us a bit of a background, what your sort of background is, and some more insights into what this event involves?
Yeah, sure. So my name's Hannah Cockle. I am the Royal Yachting Association OnBoard manager. So I look after the OnBoard programme, which is our grassroots sailing and windsurfing programme for children and young people who want to get involved.
Hi, and I'm Adam McGovern. So I'm the Royal Yachting Association regional manager for the north of England. So I work with all the venues that offer sailing, windsurfing and powerboating activity across the north to help increase participation and get more people into the sport. Similar to you, Jimmy, I'm also from Rochdale, so I walk around this lake a number of times myself.
No, that's fantastic. Yeah, I'm just literally opposite the lake, to be honest. And I sometimes sort of find it really relaxing watching the sort of the yachts, and especially on a Sunday afternoon, and get some sort of fish and chips and go for a stroll around the lake and have a sit down and watch as well. But let's sort of get to this event. It's this 20 years event, and it sounds really exciting. Can you give us a bit of an insight, Hannah? What does this involve? What can we expect on the day?
So as I said, OnBoard is our grassroots programme for children and young people sailing and windsurfing, and we're 20 years old this June. So it's all about celebrating, getting people on the water for their first time, having an adventure with their friends, and then keeping them on the water if they have a good experience. And not only is it about learning the practical skills of sailing and windsurfing, it's all about the life skills you get with it as well. So the independence you get from being out on a boat or a board on your own, or the confidence you get around being open water, or the confidence you get in yourself from trying something different. So yeah, we are really excited to be celebrating 20 years of this.
No, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, starting the 20 years, I think it's exciting also sort of it's coming to Hollingworth Lake. And what's your take on it, Adam? I mean, it's a great event for Hollingworth Lake to have, to be fair. I mean, like traditionally, I think it's fantastic. We see a lot of water sports on the lake, but what's your take on it sort of being held at the lake? I mean, that's an amazing venue, amazing opportunity as well.
Yeah, I'm just really proud to be fair, because I worked at the Water Sports Centre 20 years ago now. Actually, when it first launched the program, I was a young instructor working, trying to pay my way through uni, and to see it still going strong 20 years later, and to have been able to expand that across the whole of the north has been fantastic. But yeah, just really proud Rochdalian that the program's still going strong here, and it's great to see it expand and go further afield as well. So yeah, really good day for me today.
Absolutely. And one of the things that we aim to do on the show is to increase awareness and participation in sport. And I think this is a great sort of point of contact, really. I mean, if anyone's like thinking, and like he says, I think the life skills, and who knows, people might take up the sport, carry it on, and who knows how far they can go. It's just good to know that, you've got access to be able to do water sports. It's possible. It's there. What can people do if they want to find out more information in terms of sort of coming down on a day and getting involved?
So, well, across the north, depending on where you're listening in from this, we've got over 100 centres in the northwest of England alone, from Salford Water Sports Centre, Hollingworth. We've got a plethora of them. So I think the best thing to do, if anyone's interested, is just go onto the internet. If you search RYA Discover Sailing, you'll get a website come up that'll give you loads of opportunities, whether you're an adult or a kid, to go sailing. Or likewise, if you put RYA OnBoard, you'll find out all our OnBoard venues and find out loads of information about your local OnBoard centre where you can come along and try it out.
Yeah, just out of interest, Adam, sort of just, I suppose, some of our listeners might be interested. I'm certainly interested in how does it kind of work? I know it's sort of outside the scope of the conversation, but how does it kind of work, the competition element of it? How does it sort of, like you mentioned, there are different sort of centres. Do they compete against each other? And what's the deal there in terms of, like, different centres, like in terms of sailing? Is that how is that competition at the highest level?
Well, we've got quite a proud history at Hollingworth here, because we've got a member, Stuart Bithell, that went on to win gold medal in Tokyo. So we compete up to the highest level here, but we do everything from people get into it, they learn the ropes, then they start competing at local club races sometimes if they're interested in racing, and then from there each club will host different open meetings and competitions throughout the season, and you can go there and compete against friends that you've made, or you can compete right up to the top level of national championships. But people can take it where they want. So you can just come sail on the lake and just enjoy being on the water. But all clubs do a racing program, and then we do regional and national competitions for all ages, where they can get on the water and compete if competition's up their street.
Absolutely. I wasn't aware that Bethnal was a member of the lake there. To be fair, there should be a statue for her there. Well, I mean, what's going on there?
Oh, we're very proud. We've got lots of pictures up at the club, and his dad still sails here. You've probably watched his dad sail past you many times. Les still sails up here every week.
If I'd known, I'd stop and take a selfie. I wasn't even aware of that. I mean, it's fascinating, that, to be fair. But I think that, like, all sort of jokes aside, I mean, there is that pathway for someone who is competitive, who wants to go. I mean, obviously, GB strong in sailing. They've done well traditionally at the different Olympics. It's nice to know as well, Adam, that if you have got the talent and the drive and desire, that you can. Obviously, there's a lot of skills and you can enjoy it. And I'm sure, for most people, it's going to be just getting out there on the water. I think there's nothing better than being on the water and just, it's like meditating for me, just your mind and just really, really relaxed and that sort of stuff. But it's nice to know that there is a pathway for people to take if they've got desire and talent to do so, for sure. And I mean, just sort of focusing on the day itself. I know we sort of, spoke about other things, and you've mentioned the day itself, and maybe some of the things might be outside the scope of the conversation. But how do people need to register for the date? Do they sort of turn up? How does it work in terms of the actual 20th anniversary?
I'll go. So we've got a school here that's Greenbank Primary School. So they come every week. So they were just here already. So they're a school that have got a sailing program as part of their school program. They come here every week and enjoy learning to sail. And at the Water Sports Centre, we also invited Marland Primary School, who are a regular user of the centre. They bring school groups down throughout the year. And as one of the regulars, we just invited them down to have an extra day of sailing and get involved in this celebration.
Brilliant. I'm sure they'll be pleased to get out of school, that's for sure. Out there on the water, that's for sure. But it's definitely brilliant. I think it's fantastic. The whole thing is fantastic, really, and getting involved and just sort of for anyone considering sort of getting involved and maybe being a bit apprehensive and nervous to take it up. Is there any sort of words of wisdom? I know it's hard to give any advice, but just generally someone thinks, I want to give it a go. I think it's really welcoming and sort of friendly environment, but obviously, it's one of them where people might feel a bit nervous sort of going down. And what would you say to someone maybe nervous and a bit sort of apprehensive about sort of popping down and seeing it if it's for them?
Well, I would say it's completely normal to feel nervous trying something new, but every single sailing club and centre I've ever been into is super friendly and welcoming, and you don't need any equipment. They'll give everything to you for your first go. You certainly don't need to arrive with your own boat, and you don't need any prior experience or knowledge. Certainly down here, everybody's a qualified instructor. They're used to having total beginners, and they will literally hold your hand right onto the water. So give it a go, and you might be surprised. It might be your new favourite thing.
That's brilliant.
I was going to say, if you're nervous, Jimmy, just tell your instructor and they'll tailor the session to meet your needs. So, if you're ever a bit nervous, just tell them and they know what to do.
No, that's brilliant. I mean, I think on that note, to be fair, I think it's kind of summed, everything up perfectly, really. And I think it's a great environment, fantastic sort of, opportunity for anyone. I wasn't aware that, you could go down and get started without sort of equipment, if I'm honest. So that's a learning experience for me. Maybe it's not too late for me to the next games. might give it a go myself, but I don't think I'll get very far, to be fair. But no, I definitely sort of spread the message out there. That's for sure. I can think of a lot of people that would sort of definitely be interested for sure, and hopefully this sort of show can reach people. But thanks for your time, Hannah and Adam. It's been great speaking to you, and it's keep up the great work. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.